Welcome to Caring Community with your host, Jay West. In this community, creative initiatives are welcome. A culture of transformation is normal, and miracles are expected. Welcome to Caring Community.
Hi everyone, welcome to Caring Community. I'm Jay West, and today my special guest is Lacey Brown. I was thinking this morning, are you related to the unsinkable Molly Brown?
I am not.
Okay, I'm sure you've been asked that.
Hi.
I've never asked you that before at all, but and then there's bad Leroy Brown. Are you related to him?
No,
Okay.
Definitely not.
But you add a word, some words into your name. You want to share with who you are?
Yes, I would love to. I am downtown Lacey Brown, and I am in, my friends mess with me saying it's not the real downtown, but I am a State Farm agent in downtown Ralston. So in the middle of Omaha, in the heart of Omaha, downtown Ralston.
So I was thinking, so you're downtown Lacey Brown. Are you uptown Lacey Brown ever? Are you around town? Are you over the town, under the town? Through the town, shopping all over the town? You know, I came up with a bunch of town type, adjectives, adverbs to describe who you are. So anyway.
I am around the town wherever I can help people, whether that's help them in their personal lives or help them professionally or help them with what my area of expertise is at, insurance. So yes, I will go to all the towns in Nebraska and Iowa and take care of anyone.
Yes. So I met Lacey at a Bible study, and I had been looking for a new State Farm agent. I had a great State Farm agent in Texas. He's one of the top performers in Texas and just a dear friend of mine. And when we came up here, the one we had, it was okay, but I never really felt the connection. And I think I told you after 5 years, and I won't say who it is, but after 5 years, he still didn't know my name. He kept asking my name. And I was just like, someday I'm going to get a really good State Farm agent. And I met you, and she was exciting and smiling and happy, and she seemed interested in her job. So both Jason and I switched to you, and I'm sure you got like pennies for that. But anyway.
We appreciate it. We want all of it. We do. We just want to help people, truly.
So you wore red for, I don't know if you're, if that's for State Farm or if you work part-time at Target, I don't know, but anyway.
Well, I don't have khakis on, so khakis, it's definitely State Farm.
But State Farm has the commercial with the khakis guy. Okay, so
They
yeah.
do.
So
You're right.
So anyway, I'm curious, when we talked before coming on, I've never asked you this, but how did you segue from your previous job, whatever that was? I know your mom was a State Farm agent. We're up in Montana.
Yep, she's one of the #1 State Farm agents in the Pacific Northwest.
Of course, Montana they only have 2 big cities, and there's only 2 State Farm agents up there, so it's easy to be #1.
It's easy. It's so easy.
I'm going to be in Montana this summer. Jason and I have a gig up in Billings. Is she anywhere near Billings?
She is a good 3 hours west of Billings.
All right. So
but if you're going to go to Montana, please don't stop in Billings.
No, that's where we fly into.
Oh, okay, good. Good. Keep going west.
No, we can't go west. We're going east. The churches we're ministering at are east. Sorry.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, different story. We might have to edit this out. No, I'm teasing. So tell us what you were doing before and what brought you to change and do something totally different.
Yep. So the military actually brought my family and I to Omaha, Nebraska, and I was a active duty spouse with the military for a very, very long time, and we traveled all around and had some wonderful experiences. And I'm telling you, Jay, when I pulled over the bridge to go house hunting in 2015, it was just like this peace washed over me, and I said, this is home. I don't really ever want to leave here. And it was weird because I've never felt like that in college.
So what year was that?
2015.
Okay, well, I've been here since 2000.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I would never pick Omaha. I'm from San Diego. I love the warm weather, the tropics, palm trees, beaches. This is home, okay? So, yeah.
Yep, this is home. It's kind of centrally located. You can go anywhere. And a series of life situations happened. And I said, all right, I'd always wanted to be a State Farm agent. I'd always wanted to own my own business and kind of follow in my mom's footsteps. It's a wonderful company. And it was in 2019 was the year that God gave me the opportunity to open up my own business. And I opened my doors, and I took over an existing agent's office in January of 2020, 2 months before a pandemic. And that was a challenge. 4 kids running an office. My husband at the time was stationed in Maryland, and so it was quite the last couple of years.
So were you working prior? Did you have a job?
I did. I had a job as a stay-at-home mom. And I took care of my babies.
That's a very important job. My wife had that with our son when he was younger, and intentionally so. She was a teacher, but she said, no, I feel I'm supposed to stay home with him. So
I had the opportunity to stay home with all of them until they were in school. So I feel extremely blessed that I had that opportunity.
Okay, so you launch out into state selling insurance. Now, you chose to do what your mom's doing. I don't even know what your dad did, as opposed to doing what he did.
He's an amazing human that supports my mom through everything and was her right-hand go-to, starting her own business back 40 years ago. So,
okay.
yeah.
So what did he do?
He just helped her, ran accounts, took care of clients, and he's very active in the church in Montana as well. So he's always been active in that and been a leader and always helping people. And I have great parents that have taught me the value of just being there for people and helping them. And so I guess that's probably a huge reason why that's so ingrained in me. Is that's my purpose, is to be there for people, help them. And I feel like I was put on this earth. Oh, I didn't bring my coffee mug in, but I have a coffee mug in the car that says, nothing can dim the light that shines from within. And I'm a huge believer that if your light comes from the inside, that it's not dimmable. You might have a little moment where you feel a little bit down, but it's going to come back because of the Holy Spirit that resides.
She knows my wife passed away last year, and I've tried to do the same thing. The first month or two was really tough, but after that, I began focusing outward, helping people, going places, still dealing with grief, but still helping people. And you can't just, if you're just going to be sorry for yourself all the time, you're not going to get anything done.
Right.
And and there's lots of people. You can always find somebody worse than you too.
Absolutely, Jay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I just met a man yesterday. He's lost both his children. He lost a 30-year-old daughter and then a 17-year-old son in the last 3 years. Wow. Okay, so just imagine that he just lost 2 children in the last 3 years.
Wow.
So you can always find. I only lost 1 in the last year. So you can always find somebody that's worse. One thing I like about her, and if you discover her social media outlet. She's got all this stuff. She's always got something going and moving and singing and dancing and shouting and giving you advice and encouragement and inspiration and challenging you to do something better. And then she drives this dinky smart car occasionally for her thing, but then she has a nicer car, and she's like the Energizer Bunny on steroids, okay? Anyway.
You just brought something up funny. I think this is something interesting that happened a couple weeks ago. So a good friend of mine introduced me to a gentleman. His name is David Irving. He just stepped away from the Cowboys, playing football for the Cowboys this year, the NFL team. And he wanted to be a professional boxer. And so he was going around, his fight was a couple weeks ago. He was going around to businesses and meeting business owners and, taking pictures, kind of getting the hype around the fight. And I asked him, I said, could you sit in my smart car? So this guy is 6'9", 6'10", 250, 270 pounds. Got into that smart car for me, and I'll have to send you the picture later, but it was hilarious. And he did it and had a good attitude, and he said, go downtown Lacey Brown, and I was like, all right.
Years ago, we lived in Dallas, and I was in the grocery store, and I met a big, tall, black guy, and he played for the Cowboys, too.
Yeah.
And he was 6'10",
yep.
Okay, and I'm 6'6", and I remember I asked him, how tall are you? And he said 6'10", and then he asked me how tall I am, and I said 6'6", and he goes, you're just a little pipsqueak, aren't you?
That's awesome.
Just 4 inches apart, but the guy was massive, he's huge, So anyway, yeah. So what do you like best about your job?
Hands down, I just truly love being able to be in an industry where I can help people every single day. I've had people say, I've told people about, clients, they'll call and say, oh, you're so easy to deal with. And I said, oh, the last guy didn't say that. And he was upset about his claim or whatnot. And he said, why do you put up with that? I said, because this is what I do. It's not personal. I just want to help people. I want to be there for them every day. I know that my intentions are pure and good. And if they're upset, I'm going to do my best to fix it. But it's not my fault because I know what I'm doing. I'm 100% doing it. Also, the insurance is fantastic because you get your loyal clients that are there, and as long as you take care of them, you keep their rates as reasonable as possible, they're going to be there with you for
we
life.
talked about that last week, but I haven't heard from you. Anyway, so
Uh-oh.
you talked about lowering my rates just a little bit, so about something you could do or whatever. So anyway, not here to talk business. And so you're in Ralston.
I
right?
am.
So Ralston is a little dinky town in the middle of Omaha somewhere, and it's a really nice little community. And
Don't call Ralston dinky. It's a beautiful little town, and it is small, but
Did I say
fierce.
dinky? I meant, delicious. I meant delectable.
Amazing,
I meant, yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah. And, it's one of the few towns I don't know the mayor. So I know the mayors of all the suburbs.
Mayor Grosser, I know him well.
yeah.
Very good.
So I know the
very
mayor
good
of
guy.
Papillion and La Vista and Bellevue and Omaha and so on, Elkhorn, but I don't know.
We'll set you up a lunch with Mayor
Okay,
Grosser.
good.
He's
Let's
a very
do
good
that.
man, and his
Yeah.
wife, Deb, is
And
awesome.
we can have him on here too. So we've had some of the other mayors on here. So
Perfect.
So tell us about tell us about whatever you want to share. You've been through some hard stuff while you're transitioning into a new job. What does that look like for you?
The transition part or the hard stuff?
Both. How do you manage? Because I had the transition when my wife died, and then suddenly I got new positions offered to me, and just recently a new job offered to me, and you're meeting all these people, and you're still dealing with the past while you're dealing with the
Yep.
future, and dealing with the present, and trying to navigate all that together, and it blends together sometimes very nicely, and other times it's horrible. So.
Well, I will say that I guess there have been times going through the hardship that I have been through where I haven't made the best choices. But I have woken up every single day and said, all right, today's going to be better. I'm going to try to figure out how to make this line up with where I'm heading. And actually recently, Jay, it's funny that I'm on here today because there's been a lot of transition in my life over the last week, couple months. I remember back in December, I was talking to a minister at Calvary in Bellevue, and he said to me, Lacey, you have to figure out who you are, like in the Lord, and I guess in the secular world too, like what are you about, right? What are your choices or what are your goals? Where are you heading? Because if you know where you're heading and you know what your goals are, you're going to make choices. It's a lot easier to make the choices that align with that. And so I thought long and hard about that for weeks on end, and I realized there were some things in my life that I needed to correct, take a 180 in. But I will say throughout all of that, I've always just known that the Spirit had a hold of my heart and that I wanted to just live in that joy, no matter what was going on. And I think throughout everything I've been through, the Holy Spirit's allowed me to continue to have joy, to continue to have success. When we had the hardship of the pandemic, which has been hard for every business owner on the planet, big and small, I had to completely revamp my marketing, revamp my structure, because people now can't come in for an in-office meeting. I can't go do events. I can't, right? So there was some business owners that said they just folded and said, I'm done, or they folded and said, well, I'm just going to go broke during this. And then there was other business owners, and I would like to think that I'm one of them, that said, all right, let's restructure, let's reframe this, and figure out how in the middle of this we can succeed, right? And I think that that's important, like the situation you've been in, the situations I've been in, personally and professionally. All right, how can we call an audible on this and change direction, right? Are we going to fold and just say, forget it, and I'm done? Or are we going to wake up every day and say, all right, what is my life purpose? What do I want to do? And how can I please the Lord today? And again, I haven't been perfect in that. As you know, we spoke last week. But God is a patient God, and He allows us to correct those if our heart is in the right spot. So
I think calling it audible is a really good example.
Yes.
You get up to the line of scrimmage, and you have this play, and you're ready to go, and suddenly you see what the defense has, and you go, this will never work. Mm-hmm. And so the quarterback calls something different,
right,
in hopes that the defense doesn't interpret the signal,
mm-hmm,
so that you can move the ball down the field, I mean, we saw that, I don't know if you watched the Super Bowl, but we saw that in the Super Bowl, And it's always that way in the Super Bowl, any football game. It seems like there's always the last 2 minutes, somebody's behind, and they're trying to rush down the field to score. And
right,
when you're in a hurry and you rush, sometimes you make mistakes, which is what the team did in the Super Bowl. They
mm-hmm,
made some mistakes right at the end, and it's too late. And it's but if you make the right choices,
absolutely,
and you have God on your side, that's really important, because I was just about to ask you, where does God come in, and she just took it and ran with it. So She called the audible before I got there. So share some of the things you do on social media that just, I saw part of it this morning. I just clicked on the story page thing on Facebook and saw what you were doing and what you were sharing about. You were sharing about the purpose-driven life. I didn't catch the whole thing. So just talk a little bit about that stuff.
So that was something that I always knew. I can't think of the book right now, but social media is so important, and you do quite a bit on yours too. I like to look through those pictures and your motivational messages and your occasional joke and whatnot. But that was something I always knew was going to be a part of my business plan and my marketing, but because of the pandemic became even more important. So my goal with my social media is to be real and be authentic, but also be encouraging.
Right.
My goal every day, like I told you already, is to wake up and make every place I go a little bit brighter. And if I'm not, I want to portray that on my social media as well. A girlfriend messaged me this morning, a good friend of mine, and she said, "Are you following what you said in your story this morning about goals and living those choices out?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I sure am." And she's one of my accountability partners, and I said I am, and I'm focused on where God wants me to go, and et cetera. But I'm not always. Sometimes I post messages, and I'm doing it for myself because it's a lesson I've learned and something I need to hold my own self accountable to. Mm-hmm. And so I encourage myself by trying to encourage others. So partly a little selfish, but yeah.
Well, it's a passage in the Bible. David, I don't know if you remember in the Old Testament, he came back to his hometown. His family, his soldiers' families, everybody, the families had been kidnapped. The town had been burned to the ground. His soldiers wanted to kill him, and he went off on himself and prayed, and he encouraged himself, got directions from God, went back and recovered everything, So encouraging yourself is an important entity, especially if you're alone, okay? And you feel like, because social media, we can reach out and we say things on social media, and you get a lot of really weird responses too. You get some really good stuff, but you get some really weird responses.
Absolutely.
I mean, I ask for prayer and people send me antidotes. Or they say, try this product or try this. I said, one guy, I literally got, when Diane first got sick, when we put it out there, we got 50 different products that people were swearing by would work. And we were like, we can't possibly do all 50 of these, So, and we're just asking for prayer and they send you products, So I was like, okay, whatever. So social media can be weird, but you do a really good job of your videos and stuff. And yeah, you should find her. I don't know, what other social media do you use besides Facebook?
Instagram. I've got my business page, downtown.LaceyBrown, and then not downtown Lacey Brown.
Shopping around the town, going to all the malls, shopping downtown Brown.
Having so much fun all around all the towns.
Yes.
And then my Facebook page is Lacey Alfred Brown. That's my personal page. I don't do a lot on my professional page. We have to keep things very compliance oriented on our professional page. And I like to say the things I want to say respectfully and kindly and all that. But and then I think I'm on Twitter. I just don't do a lot on there.
I'm not on Twitter. I'm with you. I'm on that, plus Instagram and LinkedIn. Those are the three.
I'm on LinkedIn too.
Yeah, those are the three I use. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I encourage you, whatever you're doing, social media is out there and it's basically free. There are upgrades and stuff. But for me, I've sold lots of books. I've gotten speaking engagements, all sorts of doors have opened to be with other people. One just opened this morning. Social media is a great place to do that. Don't be afraid of it.
Right.
It's easy to be afraid of it if you're not like technologically savvy. It's kind of like TV. I have 2 different TV shows. I have this one. I have another one that we Zoom out of Houston. And I'm like, wow. If you had asked me 3 years ago, would you do TV? I said, absolutely not. But when you have great guests who smile and who wear Nebraska red, you can't go wrong, okay? So.
Well, and it's fun too. I mean, I go on to social media for my brand, for the message I want to put out there, but it's also for helping people understand the value of the actual what I do professionally. Insurance is so important, and having the proper, not to go on a big work kick, but it's so important to make sure you're properly insured. If you haven't had a talk with your agents in the last year, 2 years.
One of the big things you push a lot is life insurance.
Yes, life insurance.
My wife died and we had great life insurance and we're thankful that we had it. But I know of lots of people that died and they had no life insurance. And just the funeral alone, I'm just going to tell you, our funeral was $24,000. Wow. Okay, so, and it wasn't elaborate. It wasn't, and it's just the cost of the graves and the headstones, and it just goes on and on. Okay, there are so many costs that you don't realize that are there.
That's my favorite product
and to have
to
yeah, I know you
discuss.
put that out there. So she's not here to sell her stuff.
I'm not, but I do have the best product on the market though, Jay, so it's
I
good to
don't-
note that.
Yeah, right. Okay, so now I'm going to have all the other agents from all the other companies when you say stuff like
Darn
that.
it. Sorry.
It's kind of like if I interview a Republican, I got to have a Democrat. If I interview a Democrat, I got to have a Republican if they're in office. And it's kind of called the laws of the land, so to speak, with public television. We got 5 minutes left. Tell us some things you do in the community to serve.
So I have gone through periods where I've been active in the military community. Right now, my focus, I've done a little bit of stuff with Heartland Hope Mission in South Omaha. I actually just met a gal a couple days ago at a networking event. Her name is Sasha, and I believe that the project is called Project International. And they are all about meeting women's needs for simple things. I hope I can say this on here, but like feminine products that are super lacking when people are in poverty. She was telling a story about how these women do not, instead of Christmas presents that they were trying to get these women and their kids over Christmas this couple months ago, they were asking for, can you just get us feminine products? And I thought that was so sad. But
I've done a lot of volunteer work at Art on Hope, and the kids even in South Omaha that are there that go to that area. At Christmas time, they'll ask for socks. They'll ask for a new shirt.
Yeah.
They're not asking for toys, and it just surprises you when you see that because the poverty is so bad that they would rather have a good pair of warm socks in the winter and mittens and a beanie hat and maybe a nice, even somebody's really used coat that they can wear rather than the tattered, torn, or nothing thing that they have, So it's very, very important. So
yeah, and we've done stuff, just bigger organizations like Toys for Tots and the Food Bank, and trying to volunteer there and trying to be drop-off locations. And we've done a collection for toiletry items for an organization. I'd love to be involved in the community. I love to give back. I love to use what we do in our agency to have that avenue to be able to push things.
Do you do anything in the Ralston 4th of July parade when that happens?
Yes, that was one of the highlights of my last year, was because we didn't get to do it in 2020. So in 2021, having my kids hand out stuff and goodies and just being a part of that whole thing. My office is right off the parade route, and so we got to.
Right, when the parade stops, people come in our office to get coffee and donuts, and go back out to the parade. And,
Oh yeah, and we did that for Santa this year. They had Santa in the gazebo, and we were the drop-off or the pickup location for the cookies and the hot chocolate, and that was another huge highlight. That was so much fun to hand out hot chocolate and cookies.
So we don't have much time left. Give people advice right now if they're thinking like they don't like their job and they'd like to do something different. Maybe they don't even know what they do. Maybe they have a dream of what they do want to do. Help them, give them some advice on how to go from where they're at to where they want to go.
Don't play it safe. If your life is aligned right now, if you're a Christian and your life is aligned, you're making choices for God, and you go into something, know that he may not bless it lucratively, but he'll bless that experience and help you learn from it, and you may get blessed financially. But just just make that choice. I remember when I was trying to decide what I was going to go into, and I had always wanted to be an agent, but then I thought, I'll play it safe and I'll go back and get my nursing degree, right? And when I went to go do that, I took my little prereqs, I passed them, they were fine. I applied for the Creighton Accelerated program, got into it, and then the Lord just He allowed me to get in there, He blessed that, but then doors just kept closing, and things were not easy, not like as in difficult, like I didn't understand it, but it seemed like I was just, and then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go back to my roots, I'm gonna do what I'd always wanted to do, but I was just afraid, I didn't want to open my own business, right? That's scary to open your own business. Right. And I thought, nope, a friend of mine said, why not try? What do you have to lose? I said, you're right. So I went in, and literally, I can't tell you, Jay, it was like doors were swinging open faster than I could run through them. I was like, door open, go, door, run. And I couldn't, it was like every single day it was one more thing. And where I am today, I absolutely love what I do. And if I would have gone into nursing school, I don't think that I would have been still helping people, which was my motivation, but this has been phenomenal.
You would have worked for somebody else, work for State Farm, but you're kind of your own boss.
I am. Yep,
You
I'm
know,
a
I've
sole
been my own
proprietor.
boss. I just transitioned the other way. I haven't had a boss for 21 years, and now I suddenly do, which is really weird. But I did the same thing years ago and just put my name out to travel, and doors just flew open.
Right.
You know, and I went from nothing with no products to products with no books, now 5 books written, to 2 TV shows, to a radio show, to being active in the city, to speaking in 2,000 venues across the nation. And Focus on the Family did a survey a number of years ago, and they asked people who are over 80, if they had to do one thing different, what would they do? And the surprising answer was, they said, we would have taken more risks.
Absolutely.
You know, so take the risk. You know, faith is spelled R-I-S-K, okay?
I like it.
And, you know, you may be thinking, or maybe it's not a job. Maybe you're thinking about writing your first book. You know, I should have written my first book back when I was in my 20s, rather than when I was in my 50s. Then I'd have 30 or 40 books written now. You know, instead of working on my 6th and 7th book, I'd have so much further down the road. I started late, okay? It's never too late to start, okay? John Maxwell has a quote. It says, if you want to be great, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great, okay?
Amen.
And so, you know, you just got to start, whatever it is. Maybe you know, maybe you want to write a book, maybe you want to sing, maybe you want to write a song, maybe you want to write poetry, maybe you want to paint a picture. You know, I don't know what you want to do, you know, but there's something inside of you. If you're still breathing, you've got something to do.
Amen.
Okay, and something significant to do. So I'd encourage you that. I'm gonna throw out a book too. It's called, I just thought of it, it's called Halftime. And it's written by a guy named Bob Buford, and the first 30 or 40 years of your life, you're pushing for success. And the second half of your life, you're pushing for significance. That's what it's about, you know. And we want to leave we only have so much time. My wife died early at age 63. You know, it seems early and young now, you know. When I was a teenager, 63 seemed old, you know, but now it seems young. You don't know how much time you have left. Right. So put your energy and your effort into it, like Lacey, uptown, downtown, around town, Brown has done.
I love it.
So, and a final word for the audience before we leave?
I love what you said. Have faith. Faith is spelled R-I-S-K, and go forth and see where life takes you at. And have fun, guys. Smile and have fun.
Right.
Every single day.
Right. Yeah, have fun. I'm finding myself having lots of fun. I got a new job. It's thrilling, and I'm going to talk about it in the next show that we're going to do next. So anyway, thanks for tuning in to Caring Community. Thank you, Lacey Brown, for coming out and being part of our show, and wearing red. Go Nebraska. So anyway, we'll see you next time. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in to Caring Community. Bye-bye.